Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. This is not going to be a recap results video for Monday Night Raw. This was Monday Night Raw's go-home show for the Elimination Chamber, which is this Sunday. And what do you expect from Monday Night Raw, as always? The show fucking sucked tonight. The show was awful. What do we get tonight? We had a six-man tag, the Lucha House Party, and Matt Riddle versus the Hurt Business. Does that sound interesting? No. We had a gauntlet match. And you know, with WWE and these gauntlet matches, this is just another way of WWE being lazy. These gauntlet matches, in my opinion, are starting to get overkill. It's just WWE books these gauntlet matches when they got nothing else to put on the show. So they're like, oh yeah, so we got nothing else for Monday Night Raw tonight. We need to fill the third hour. So you know what? Let's just do a gauntlet match. Let's just do a gauntlet match to fill some time. So yeah, we had a gauntlet match. And the winner of that gauntlet match will get to go into the chamber. Will enter the chamber last. So yeah, so we had a gauntlet match tonight. But overall, nothing interesting was on this show tonight. If you missed it, you did not miss anything. So, but let's get on with the Monday Night Raw review. So Monday Night Raw opened up tonight with Miz TV. The Miz ended up coming out. He came out by himself. He didn't come out along with John Morrison. And I'm like, oh great. The Miz opens up Monday Night Raw. I could hear everybody picking up their remotes and muting the TV. So the Miz ended up welcoming everyone to Miz TV. He introduced his guest, who was Drew McIntyre, the WWE champion. So McIntyre ended up coming in. Him and the Miz end up sitting down. Miz welcomed McIntyre to Miz TV. And he also ended up saying that John Morrison isn't here because he's with a top name producer recording a diss track about Bad Bunny. So the Miz ended up telling McIntyre that his road to WrestleMania could end this Sunday with the Elimination Chamber. So Miz ended up saying that if it were him, he would be panicking. So Miz ended up going on with McIntyre, saying about how Sheamus turned on McIntyre, and of course the Elimination Chamber, saying that McIntyre was screwed by officials. So McIntyre ended up yelling at the Miz, told the Miz to shut the hell up. So McIntyre ended up saying that if Miz interrupts him one more time, he will regret it. So we had the Miz, he still kept running his mouth. McIntyre then ended up dropping him with a Glasgow kiss, headbutt. So McIntyre then ended up grabbing the Money in the Bank briefcase and he launched it towards the stage. McIntyre then grabbed the title and he went up the ramp. So the Miz ended up getting back on his feet. So the Miz ends up ranting about how the pressure of the Elimination Chamber is getting to McIntyre. And he ended up saying that he does not have any of that pressure, the Miz. So Miz was teasing a cash-in on Sunday because he kept on ranting. So the Miz ended up warning every superstar, whether you're going for the WWE Championship or the Universal Championship, to be warned and realize that he is in control. So the Miz ended up saying that when he cashes in his Money in the Bank briefcase, he will be standing in the ring as champion. So Miz ended up announcing that he is removing himself from the Elimination Chamber. And you know what? This is good for the Miz here, of him removing himself from the chamber, because it proves that WWE fucked up. They had the Miz in the chamber, and it makes no sense to have a Money in the Bank contract holder in the Elimination Chamber. It's like WWE forgot that the Miz still has the Money in the Bank briefcase. So that was good. That was good on the Miz's part. Makes no sense of him being in the chamber. But overall, it was just a very meh segment. So then we had Matt Riddle and the Lucha House Party versus the Hurt Business. MVP, Shelton Benjamin, and Cedric Alexander. 6-man tag. And it was noted from commentary, Tom Phillips noted that Keith Lee suffered injuries last week. And Tom Phillips ended up saying that Keith Lee's status for Sunday in the triple threat match for the United States Championship, Tom Phillips ended up saying that Keith Lee's status is up in the air right now. Because, of course, Keith Lee is going to take on Bobby Lashley and Matt Riddle for the United States Championship Sunday at the Elimination Chamber. So according to Tom Phillips, Keith Lee's status is up in the air. Don't worry, Keith Lee will be competing at the Elimination Chamber in that triple threat. That is my prediction. I mean, we all know it. But this 6-man tag was just very meh, in my opinion. We had Matt Riddle and the Lucha House Party end up winning the match, where Matt Riddle ended up dropping MVP with the knee to his face. Matt Riddle then went up to the top, and he delivered the floating bro on MVP. So you go, Matt Riddle and the Lucha House Party end up winning the match. But overall, just a very meh match, in my opinion. Post-match, we had Bobby Lashley. He ended up running down the ramp. He ended up dropping Matt Riddle from behind. And I liked what Bobby Lashley was wearing tonight. He was wearing a nice maroon suit, it looked like. So we liked Bobby Lashley's maroon suit tonight. Then Bobby Lashley ended up taking out Lince Dorado and Greg Metalik. Lashley then locked on the Hurt Lock on Matt Riddle. Lashley dropped Matt Riddle and stood over him. So that was that. Then we had the Miz backstage. The Miz was backstage with Adam Pearce. He was complaining to Adam Pearce about how dented up his Money in the Bank briefcase is, thanks to Drew McIntyre. Miz ended up thanking Adam Pearce for allowing him a spot in the Elimination Chamber. So he wanted to give his chamber spot to a young up-and-comer who was ready to grab the brass ring. So he ended up naming John Morrison. Of course, he was going to name Morrison for his replacement. So Adam Pearce ended up telling The Miz that he isn't so sure, but he will promise to take Morrison into consideration. So that was that. So then we had Mandy Rose backstage. Mandy Rose was backstage with Bad Bunny, telling him how good he did last week. So Mandy Rose was shown wearing Bad Bunny's t-shirt. She ended up asking Bad Bunny if he has one for her to give to Dana Brooke. So Mandy Rose ended up wishing Bad Bunny good luck on SNL this week. And of course, Bad Bunny's going to be performing on SNL this week. And I'm like, great. I gotta see Bad Bunny on SNL this weekend. So Damian Priest ended up walking up. And he ended up greeting Bad Bunny. Sarah Schreiber ended up interviewing them. Sarah Schreiber was talking about how good Bad Bunny's week is going. And, she's plugging, Bad Bunny on SNL. So both Bad Bunny and Damian Priest are interrupted by Akira Tozawa pinning R-Truth for the Jobber Ninja Turtle 24/7 title. Oh, man. Why do I gotta talk about this Jobber Ninja Turtle 24/7 title? Can we get this title off of fucking TV? So Tozawa was shown backing into Damian Priest, who knocks him into a stack of production cases. And Damian Priest ended up telling Bad Bunny to cover Tozawa. So Bad Bunny ended up covering Tozawa, and then Bad Bunny is now the holder of the Jobber Ninja Turtle 24/7 title. Whatever, fucking garbage. So then New Day was backstage with Adam Pearce. Kofi Kingston ended up telling Adam Pearce that he wants to take the Miz's spot in the Elimination Chamber. So Xavier Woods ended up saying that he just wants to finish his feud with Retribution. So the Miz ended up walking up. The Miz ended up saying that he and Adam Pearce have an understanding about John Morrison getting his spot. So Adam Pearce ended up telling the Miz to relax. So Adam Pearce ended up announcing that it's going to be Kofi versus the Miz with the chamber spot in the air. So Xavier Woods was predicting, oh yeah, this could lead to Kofi Mania 2. Of course, we're not going to get Kofi Mania 2. It's not going to happen. So Miz ended up saying, oh yeah, sequels are never good. And so we had Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston taking shots at the Miz, and they mentioned the Miz's Marine films like Marine 4, 5, and 6. So they end up joking about that with the Miz, calling those sequels awful. That was that. So there you go. It's going to be Kofi Kingston versus the Miz later on in the night. And then we had Asuka and Charlotte Flair versus Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce. This was god-awful. This was terrible. So we had Lacey Evans on the mic. Lacey Evans ended up taunting Charlotte while walking down the ramp. Lacey ended up saying that the Nature Boy thinks she will be ready to be the Raw Women's Champion at Elimination Chamber on Sunday. So Lacey Evans then ended up taunting Asuka and saying, oh yeah, Asuka, you have something that I've been waiting to get my hands on, and that is the Raw Women's Championship. So that was what Lacey Evans had to say. But this was a terrible match. This match ended in a no contest because we had Lacey Evans walking down the steps. Lacey Evans didn't get involved in this match. She was just standing on the apron. So we had Lacey Evans walking down the steps. She was apparently walking out of the match. So Lacey Evans ended up getting on the mic. She ended up saying that Charlotte isn't going to put her hands on her. So Lacey Evans then announced that she is pregnant. So we just had Ric Flair looking shocked, and then he starts celebrating with Lacey Evans. So that was that. No contest, no winner for this match. But Lacey Evans being pregnant is actually true. An article came out after Lacey Evans announced that she's pregnant. So she really is pregnant. But what they're going to do, what WWE is going to do, and I actually read this in the article, they're going to do Ric Flair being the father to Lacey Evans's newborn child, upcoming child. That is awful. That is god awful there. But, outside, Lacey Evans, outside of her character, she really is pregnant. But this whole thing that WWE is going to do with them having Ric Flair be the child to Lacey Evans's newborn child, it's going to be awful. This whole Lacey Evans, Ric Flair, Charlotte storyline here is absolutely god awful. And heading it and them doing this storyline here with them wanting to have Ric Flair as the father to this newborn child, Lacey Evans, it's going to be god awful. This will be as bad as the Lana and Bobby Lashley storyline. And we all want to forget that. Because that was fucking god awful television. But moving on. Kofi Kingston versus The Miz. This was a pretty okay match here. If Kofi Kingston ends up winning the match, he will take The Miz's spot in the Elimination Chamber. But if The Miz won, John Morrison gets his spot in the chamber. So the match started off back and forth between Kofi and The Miz. So Kofi ended up flying off the top, but Miz ended up staying in. Miz went to the floor to regroup. Kofi ended up chasing him around the ring. Kofi ended up delivering some big kicks from the apron to The Miz. We had Kofi end up leaping off the top out to the floor with a double axe handle on The Miz. So at the end of the match, we had Kofi end up delivering the Trouble in Paradise to The Miz. Went for the cover. And there you go. Kofi Kingston end up winning the match. And Kofi earns The Miz's spot in the Elimination Chamber. So now at the Chamber, it's going to be Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, and Randy Orton, and also Kofi Kingston. So there you go. And then we saw last week with Lana defeating Nia Jax in the tables match, which was god awful. The only highlight of that match was Nia Jax going, "My hole!" That was the only highlight of that match last week, which was god awful. So Lana and Naomi were backstage with Sarah Schreiber. So Lana was bragging about last week and having her lucky charm, Naomi. Naomi ended up saying that after all she's gone through, Lana deserved to put Nia Jax through the table. So Naomi ended up going on and ended up saying that they're going to take it to the champs tonight. So that was a little interview with them. Oh, but like I said, Kofi Kingston versus The Miz. It was a okay match. So then we had Randy Orton backstage. Randy Orton ended up saying, thanks to Sheamus' actions last week, him and McIntyre still have unfinished business. But that's all right. Orton ended up going on about winning the Gauntlet match and doing whatever it takes to get what he wants. He mentioned about lighting the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, on fire. And when he did that, the Fiend is now no more. Orton ended up saying that now his sights are set on something else, and that is the WWE Championship, and him main eventing WrestleMania. Orton ended up saying that he won't be in the chamber with 5 opponents. He will be in the chamber with 5 victims. Victims of those 3-letter words. R-K. And then before he got the O out, the camera ended up interrupting. And it cut to Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss was there. We see the Fire Funhouse door. And she ended up saying, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. And she ended up blowing ashes, what it looked like, a handful of ashes. Alexa Bliss ended up saying that the fire did destroy, but in the future, he will be reborn. So then it was shown Alexa Bliss was sitting in the middle of a pentagram. She was sitting in the middle of a pentagram. There was candles on the floor. So Alexa Bliss was shown looking up from her knees. And we had, red glow end up shining. And the floor looked like it was rumbling. So Alexa Bliss ended up laughing uncontrollably. And she was looking up at the camera. She was laughing uncontrollably. And that was that. But Alexa Bliss, she's the entertaining thing going on Monday Night Raw. And then we had Lana versus Shayna Baszler, which this was god-awful. This was terrible. It was absolutely boring. Shayna Baszler ended up winning. Locked in the carrot through the clutch on Lana. There you go. Shayna Baszler ended up winning the match. God-awful match. Terrible. We're moving on. We had Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman was seething at Adam Pearce backstage. He was asking for one good reason why he's not in the Elimination Chamber. Strowman ended up reminding Adam Pearce what happened last time he was doing wrong. Braun Strowman ended up saying that Shane McMahon has made it clear Adam Pearce is in charge around here. Pearce ended up saying that he's just the messenger. He's just a messenger? No. He is a GM. But WWE does not want to say that. Adam Pearce is the GM for both Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. He's not a messenger. He's a GM. So Braun ended up telling Adam Pearce to send Shane McMahon a message that says he needs to make this right, or else. So that was what Braun Strowman had to say. And then we had the main event, the Gauntlet match. AJ Styles, Sheamus, Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, Kofi Kingston, and Drew McIntyre, all in the match. Before the match got going, AJ Styles was in the ring with Omos. Styles ended up saying that he's not thrilled with the idea of Kofi Kingston trying to relieve Kofi Mania, or create Kofi Mania 2. Styles ended up saying that he's going to shut down those dreams with this warm-up match. Styles ended up saying that he's going to give another example of what he's going to do in the chamber. He's going to go through everyone and ride the momentum all the way to the WWE Championship. So Styles ended up mentioning how Omos and Joseph Park crunched the numbers and the statistics, saying that Styles can't lose. So then we had the New Day end up coming out. We had Kofi limping around from his match earlier with The Miz. So this was pretty decent here with Styles and Kofi here in this Gauntlet match. There was a point where Xavier Woods was watching from on top of the announce table. Of course, he was playing Francesca, who is, of course, the trombone, and almost grabs Xavier Woods. Almost grabbed Xavier Woods by the throat. So almost end up holding Xavier Woods in the air. And he then drove Xavier Woods over the barricade. So Kofi ended up coming over and he ended up yelling at Omos. And the referee also was there. The referee ended up throwing Omos to the backstage area. He ejected Omos. So Styles was arguing with the referee. Like, oh, he didn't do nothing. So Styles ends up turning back around. He ended up taking out Kofi's knee from behind with the chop block. And then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. So when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we had Styles end up countering Kofi on the mat. Styles ended up applying a single leg crab onto Kofi. Kofi ended up trying to get to the rope, but Styles ended up pulling him back. And Styles ended up eliminating Kofi from the Gauntlet match because he delivered the phenomenal forearm. So Styles ended up eliminating Kofi. And then Drew McIntyre came out. So then it was AJ Styles versus Drew McIntyre, which Drew McIntyre ended up eliminating Styles with the Claymore. And then Styles ended up going to the back. And then Jeff Hardy took on Drew McIntyre. And here with Styles and Drew McIntyre was pretty good here in the Gauntlet match. Also for Drew McIntyre when he faced Jeff Hardy here. It was pretty cool here. But McIntyre ended up eliminating Jeff Hardy. It looked like Jeff Hardy was going to get the win and eliminate McIntyre. But Jeff Hardy went to the top and he delivered the Swanton, but Drew McIntyre got his legs up, his knees up. And so McIntyre ended up delivering the Claymore to Jeff Hardy. So McIntyre ended up eliminating Jeff Hardy. And then McIntyre took on Randy Orton. I'm like, oh, great, we got to see McIntyre and Orton again. But unfortunately, Randy Orton got eliminated by countout because Alexa Bliss, the lights go down in the Thunderdome, and we hear Alexa Bliss laughing. So Alexa Bliss ends up appearing in the Thunderdome, where the crowd is, on the LEDs. She was just, laughing. So Orton was surrounded by Alexa Bliss laughing, with her face being all over the Thunderdome. So that was when Randy Orton ended up getting counted out. So Orton ended up getting eliminated. So McIntyre ended up knocking Orton off the apron with a Claymore. And so Sheamus was the last one to come out. So it was Sheamus versus McIntyre. McIntyre ended up looking at the stage for Sheamus to come out. So Sheamus then attacked McIntyre from behind instead. So Sheamus then unloaded on McIntyre, ended up beating him out of the ring and over the barricade. Sheamus ended up bringing McIntyre back over the barricade, send him headfirst into the ring post. So Sheamus ended up bringing it back into the ring, started stomping away on McIntyre. So the referee was checking on McIntyre, and he was telling McIntyre if he wants to continue, if he wants to fight Sheamus. So McIntyre was like, yeah, I do. So they end up restarting. Sheamus ended up attacking, started unloading on McIntyre and beating him down in the corner. Sheamus then delivered a clothesline for a quick pin attempt. So at the end of this Gauntlet match, Sheamus ended up winning. Sheamus ended up delivering a bro kick to McIntyre. So Sheamus ended up winning the Gauntlet match. So Sheamus will now enter the Elimination Chamber last this Sunday. So post-match, Sheamus was on the stage. He had a mic in hand. So Sheamus was bragging about him defeating Drew McIntyre. So Sheamus was taunting McIntyre, bragging about being the odds-on favorite. And he was going on about how he will become the new WWE champion on Sunday. So there you go. Sheamus was like, oh yeah, I'm going to become the new WWE champion on Sunday. So that was how Monday Night Raw ended tonight. But overall, Monday Night Raw, god-awful show, absolutely terrible. So anyways, that's it for Monday Night Raw review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all later.